Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we have a new OTF on the channel, and this is something I've wanted to get on the channel for quite a while because I personally love OTFs. I live in an area where they're legal, and if you do, then you probably like them too. Maybe not. Let me know in the comments if you do live in an area but you don't like OTFs, but they are just fun to have. If you're a knife enthusiast, you almost have to have one in the collection at least, even if you don't carry it a lot, because they're just great. And this is from Tacom, and it is something that really intrigued me. This is the Bulldog. Now, before I go any further into this review, I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 7.81 inches, a blade length of 3.07 inches, and a blade thickness at 120 thousandths. Blade material on this guy is pretty darn nice. M390 with a sheep's foot style blade, which that was one of the more intriguing parts of this knife for me, was you don't see a lot of OTFs with sheepfoot blades, if any. I don't remember seeing a lot, so want to check it out for that. A flat grind with a handle length coming in at 4.71 inches, handle thickness at 469 thousandths. We have an aluminum handle, or chassis, as someone likes to call it on an OTF, with some rather nice milling, a user of a left or right hand tip-up carry, weight coming in at 4.3 ounces, and a price of $229. The price, $129. Let me hit on that real quick, because what you have here is a very high quality out the front knife that has incredible action, very nice fit and finish, and M390 steel. It's hard to knock it at $229 for this. Is there more affordable options? Yes, there is. Is there a lot more expensive options with action equally as good as this? There is. So this does pose a decent value. Not the deal of the century, but I have no issue with the price tag, given the competition that it's going up against. I could name a few knives that are more expensive than this that I would pass on all day for a few reasons, and I really, really like this actuator here. But let's do some size comparisons real quick. Let's bring out some other OTFs and measure them up here. We have one of my all-time favorites, the Duroc Delta from Microtech, which is going to be a lot longer than this because it's just a big knife. And then we have the Axial Gear Shift, which is going to be a little closer, probably a little bigger because the blade's slightly longer. But yeah, not much, just a little longer than the Tacom Bulldog. That's definitely a much better comparison, but anytime I have the opportunity to put a Delta on the table, we're going to do it. So there's your size comparisons. Now let's talk about this Bulldog. And keep in mind, while I like the Duroc Delta, this was also a $450 knife, I think. So you're talking close to half the price here. So there's some value to be had when comparing those two. But the blade here, a pretty unique sheep's foot blade that I really wanted to check out an OTF with a sheep's foot, because I like, in the way this sheep's foot is designed, it's kind of like a Wharncliffe sheep's foot. Kind of has the sheep's foot front, but it has that flat Wharncliffe lack of belly, we should say. There's no belly. It's a completely straight blade, which I really was intrigued by that. That makes for a very aggressive tip. Very nice to open anything. Any type of packaging, anything with tape, anything of any nature that you would need to open. This blade would be really, really good for that. Great for draw cuts. And it's an OTF. It's an OTF, and OTFs are just fun. So had to check this out. And so far, I'm really loving it. It's just a really, really nice blade. Pretty darn good edge on this. 18 thousandths behind the edge. Plenty slicey enough. Better geometry than some other OTFs out there. Better geometry than just about any dagger type of blade. So, yeah, really good stuff going there. Nice aggressive tip, as I already alluded to, but it's also a rather strong tip too. You got some nice reinforcement up there, and just a really good blade for an EDC knife. Everything else is pretty nice. Good plunge grind down here to keep the edge sharp with no smiles. Gotta like that. And the chassis. I was a little, that was the biggest thing holding me up on checking this knife out, because it's a little wider. It's actually noticeably wider. Let's bring the axial gear shift, which is about the same size as a Microtech Ultratech. And as you can see, there's a noticeable difference in width here on the handle. Now, not a bad thing. And I will say, I do prefer the milling on this chassis to the shift. The milling, the smooth or lack of milling on the shift, this just feels good. Gives that nice little extra bit of grip. And I will say the width of the handle actually favors my grip. I kind of have, wider hands. So when I'm holding on to something, the actual chassis and handle is sitting more in my palm. My fingers can wrap around, and I'm in a very comfortable position here. So if you have medium to maybe wider, larger hands, this is an OTF that you probably would really enjoy from an ergonomic standpoint. As I said, nice milling. There's no flaws, no nothing. Really nice aluminum handle. Great job of milling, and an attractive pattern too. I dig the way that looks. It's kind of rugged, kind of tactical, very nice. The one real issue I have with this knife, it's not like a deal breaker, but it is an annoyance, is the screws for the pocket clip. So depending on what pants I wear, this will work, and sometimes it won't. The pants I've been wearing a lot lately have been hiking pants. I'm just decided that I'm going to make hiking pants the new khakis, because I just love hiking pants. They're comfortable, and they're thinner. So this easily goes into the pocket just fine, and it goes all the way deep. So when it's in my pocket, I mean, you're basically not seeing the life. It's true, or the knife. It's true ultra deep carry. So pretty much disappears in the pocket from a visual standpoint. But if you have thicker hems, if you have some thick jeans or something that is just not thin, you may have some issues there, may get caught up. So that's not ideal for $230. That definitely should have been caught and avoided. So that is the only real issue with this knife that I think anyone should really put a little thought into when it comes to making the purchase. But everything else is really impressive. Ergos are good. Fit and finish is good. Blade's great. Action is really, it's as good as an OTF can get. And I mean that. It is every bit as good as the axial shift, and it is every bit as good as my Duroc Delta. So there is no issue, absolutely no issue in the action department for the Bulldog. And that's a great thing, because you should expect the best action when you're paying a higher price tag. Another thing I really like about the actuator, well, is really everything. It's very smooth, and it's not too aggressive on the thumb, but it also has the perfect amount of tension for deployment or actuating, whatever you want to call it. You can just go crazy, and it won't eat your thumb up. I mean, obviously there's some indentation because I was pressing hard, but there's no, skid being chafed or anything like that. So very, very comfortable. Love that. That is one of the most important things I look for when I look into an OTF knife, is how easy is the actuator? How aggressive is it? Microtech has a very bad habit of making their actuators too aggressive. This one is not that. This one's actually very comfortable, but the newer Ultratechs are just tearing my fingers apart. So I really, really appreciate this actuator here. Kind of reminds me more of the Kershaw lineup, like the Kershaw Livewire, much more along the lines of those. So very comfortable, very enjoyable. And at the end of the day, this is an OTF that I would definitely recommend. The only thing you want to keep an eye out for is, would that be a problem for you right there with the screws sticking up? Because, yeah, that's definitely not ideal. But everything else about this knife is pretty darn ideal. Really enjoy it. The Tacom Bulldog. Let me know what you guys think of this. There are some available. They will be linked below. Really cool knife from Tacom, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they come out. I hope they come out with more OTFs, because I think they're onto something with the milling and more blade shapes. Really cool stuff. That is the Bulldog. Let me know what you guys think. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Oh crap! One last thing. If you I meant to mention this earlier. There is a drop point version of this available, but as of right now, it's sold out. So if you really like the knife and you don't want the sheep's foot, you want a drop point, keep your eyes peeled. Maybe they'll be coming in the future. Follow Tacom on Instagram. Let them know you want some drop points if that's what you want, and they're out. But the sheep foot version is available now. And that's it. That's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.